Hi everyone, my name is Chloe from Tutoring Your Way, and today I've got a beautiful little video for you on how to complete the square. So let's get into it. What is completing the square first of all? So completing the square is when we have a quadratic in expanded form. We have a quadratic that looks something like y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And this a, b and c are going to be numbers. So that's our expanded form, and we want to make it into turning point form. So it's a different form of the same equation. We're just moving things around. We're not changing the numbers at all, but it's a form we can work with. So we're changing it from expanded form into turning point form, which looks a little something like this. You've probably seen that before in class, so I hope you have. And so why do we do this? So we change it into turning point form to find the turning point. So when we've got a parabola, we've got our turning point down here. We want to find where exactly that turning point is on the graph. So to do that, we get it into turning point form. We look at our h and our k, and that will give us the turning point. But we can't find that just by looking at this expanded quadratic. So we make it into turning point form so that we can find the turning point. From this, we can also find the axis of symmetry. That's just the x coordinate of our turning point, our line that goes down here. And we can also find whether the graph's been translated horizontally or vertically. So h will be our horizontal translation and k will be our vertical translation. So that's why we do completing the square. Now, how do we actually do it? So first of all, you want to have a quadratic in expanded form. So you want to move things around, so we've got y on one side and all our numbers on the other side. So say we have the quadratic y equals x squared plus 12x plus 11. Pretty easy one to start off with. So first step in completing the square is to get our coefficient of x in the middle here. So pick out the number 12 and we halve it. Half of 12 is 6, and then we square that number. So 6 squared is 36. So two steps there, halve it, square it, and that's our new number. Next step is we're going to insert that number into our equation, but we're not going to change the equation at all. So still get our y equals x squared plus 12x. And in between those last two terms, we're going to add this number and subtract it, right? So we're going to add 36 and then subtract 36 and then continue on with the equation. So we still have our plus 11 at the end. So I haven't changed the equation at all. I've kind of compensated for what I've changed. So I've added 36, taken 36 away. It hasn't changed the equation at all. We've just chucked some extra numbers in there so that we can work with it a bit better. So now we can kind of split our equation into two parts. So this first part, we're going to factorize it. So to factorize, we need to find two numbers that multiply to equal the last term. So two numbers that multiply to equal 36. And those same two numbers have to add to equal the middle term, so 12. So two numbers that multiply to equal 36 and add to equal 12, well, that would be 6. 6 times 6 is 36, and 6 plus 6 is 12. So that number, we'll work up here from now. That number we're going to insert into the brackets next to our x. So we're going to have y equals x. Our number was positive 6, so we put in plus 6, all squared. So that's the first section done. And then for this second section, it's just a simple calculation. So minus 36 plus 11, that gives us negative 25. And there is our turning point form. We've just completed the square. That's all it is. And then from there, you can do other things. So you can find the turning point, find the translations, etc., etc. But that 4-step process is completing the square. So let's do another practice one. Say we had y equals x squared minus 12x plus 11. Right, I want you to pause the video right now. Think about the steps I just showed you and try and complete the square with this equation and see how you go. All right, hoping you've paused the video, but if not, let's continue. So, first step is to halve the middle number. So we're going to have minus 12 over 2, so that gives us minus 6, and then we square it. Minus 6 squared, so minus 6 times minus 6 becomes positive 36, because timesing two negative numbers together gives us 36. So 36 is our number once again, positive 36. So second step, we have y equals x squared minus 12x plus 36, and then minus 36. And we always do it in that order, the plus first and the minus second. Plus 11. Cool. And then we're going to split it into two parts. So this part we're going to factorize. So we need two numbers that multiply to equal 36 and add to equal minus 12. So those two numbers would be negative 6 this time. Minus 6 times minus 6 is 36, and minus 6 plus minus 6 is minus 12. Great. So in our brackets, we're going to have y equals x minus 6 all squared. Don't forget those brackets. And then minus 6 plus 11 again is negative 25. And we have completed the square. And you always put a box around your final answer, because in a test, it's a really good habit to get into, because in a test, the examiner will see very clearly what your final answer is. There we go. So we're going to do one last one here. So what if we had a coefficient in front of x squared? So what if we have like y equals 5x squared minus 20x plus 60? What would we do? We would factorize. So the first step is to take that 5 and factorize it, like bring it out the front. So this is like our extra little step at the start. So that becomes x squared minus 20 divided by 5 is minus 4x. And then plus 60 divided by 5, so this becomes 12, all in brackets. So it's the same equation, just in another form. We've taken that 5 out, and then we just complete the square with this inside function. So now we go to our step 1, which is halve the coefficient of x divided by 2, so that becomes minus 2. Square it, so that becomes 4. So that is our number that we insert. So we've still got our 5 out the front, don't put it back in. X squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 4. It's from that bit. And then still plus 12 on the end. So then we're going to split it into two parts, and this is the bit we're going to factorize here. So we need two numbers that multiply to equal positive 4 and add to equal negative 4, which would be the number minus 2. Minus 2 times minus 2 is 4, and minus 2 plus minus 2 is minus 4. So that was step 3. Then step 4, we just tidy it up. Y equals, still keep our 5 out the front. Our minus 2 goes in the brackets, x minus 2 all squared. But then this minus 4 plus 12 is still in the brackets with the 5. So we need to expand that out, because that's not going to be in the brackets with the 5 anymore. So it would be minus 4 plus 12 is positive 8. And times that by the 5, which is 40. So now on the end, we're going to have plus 40. There's our final answer. So I hope you've enjoyed this video today. I know I certainly have enjoyed teaching it, and completing the square is a topic that a lot of students struggle with. And I hope to see you again at Tutoring Your Way.